Hi, Saturday greetings. It's me, Heidi Papoff, and I am coming to you live today from my little nook. This is a little bench in the corner of my house where I've kind of claimed it as my little spot where I come in the morning every day to read my inspirational self-development books. I write in my journal here, and I kind of like to think that people know that when I'm here sitting in this spot to not bother me, that this is my me time. And that's sort of what I want to talk about today with this topic because, okay, so first of all, let me give credit where credit is due. I am part of a networking group called Mob Northwest. It stands for Mom-Owned Businesses. And at our meetups, we always have some sort of speaker who has, something to offer moms, but it could be applied to pretty much anyone in life. But moms, especially who are running their own business, entrepreneurs, we can definitely have a tendency to get burnt out. We put ourselves last. We forget to take care of ourselves. And that can lead to all of the things in the title of this video, feeling burnt out, feeling overworked, under cared for, and just getting into a negative, downward spiral of negativity, not feeling our best. And then we can't show up in our many roles as our best selves, giving what we know we're capable of and being, in our highest capacity. I like to try to live my life from my, my highest, I can't think of the right word right now, but, anyway, I'll think of it in a second. But, your highest capacity to live your best life and show up as your best self. So this talk was from one of those meetings, and it was by a Beaverton-based doctor, Dr. Raquel Muller. And she's a coach for women, especially women who, work or are entrepreneurs, and helps empower them to do what I'm talking about here, which is, be your best self, show up authentically, live up to your potential. That is the word I was thinking of. And so with these 5 lifestyle tips, which actually will be easy to remember because it's the acronym for woman, WOMAN, is these tips. You can start to transform your life, change the way you feel every day, change the way you are able to show up in the world, give back to others without feeling totally depleted and like all you're doing is giving and not getting, and not giving from a place of inspiration or empowerment. And I know that when I get to feeling that way, like all I'm doing is giving, all I'm doing is serving, all I'm doing is, stuff for other people and not feeling like I'm appreciated or like I'm giving from a full cup, I just don't want to keep doing any of it. So, and that's not where I want to be either. So I really loved this talk. I loved these tips and I wanted to share them with all of you. But I did want to give credit where credit was due. Like I said, this was from Dr. Raquel Muller up in the Tigard, not Beaverton area. So woman, number 1 is W, work on your mindset. So this can be done in a variety of different ways. But the way she suggested and the way that works for me especially is to think of it as bookending your day. So you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is work on your mindset in some way. So one of the best ways and the best suggestions that I find is simplest, doesn't require any sort of big financial investment, is to get a gratitude journal. So every morning, write down 5 things that you're grateful for and include things that you don't yet have, but you write about them in the present tense as if you have it. So I'm so grateful for, as a real estate agent, I might say, I'm so grateful for 5 new clients in the next month, something like that. So you're manifesting what you want by being grateful for it already and creating that vibrational frequency, but also be thankful for the things that are actually current in your life. Like, waking up in a bed, waking up in a warm bed with a home, a roof over your head. Be thankful for your family's health. thankful for, whatever is happening in your life that is positive. When we focus on what's working, not on what's not working, so basically we focus on what we have and not what we lack, we are actually creating more of that in our lives. When we focus on the lack, we create more lack. So 5 things in the morning that you're grateful for, including things that you are manifesting that you don't yet have. And then at night, again, write 3 things in your journal that went well that day. What worked that day? What happened that, was how you intended, or maybe was even better than you intended. So I like to, when I'm trying to manifest something, I might have one thing in my mind, but it could be that something even better happens. So I will say, this or something better, whatever it is that I want, or something better, because I might be asking for too little. Okay, so that's number 1, is work on your mindset. Gratitude journal in the morning and in the evening. O is number 2. Remember, we're spelling out woman here. Operate from a place of overflow. So in order to do this, we have to fill our own cup. I know it sounds cliche. We've all heard it so many times, but you can't pour from an empty cup, and you can pour from a half full cup, but you're going to then still end up empty. So work from a place, or operate from a place of overflow, means, fill your cup so full that you are overflowing and therefore giving back, being of service to your family, your friends, your loved ones, doesn't feel like any sort of burden and is actually something you're inspired and happy to do. So how do we do this? We have to work on our emotional health, our spiritual health, our mental health, and all of those things include doing things that make you feel alive, things that bring you joy. Putting you on your calendar is going to be necessary to make this happen, because as a woman, as a mom, whether you're watching this and maybe you're a dad, you're a man, this still applies to you, we tend to put ourselves last. And if we don't work ourselves into our calendar and make it a priority, something will always come up. So it has to be non-negotiable. It has to be just as important as any other meeting or appointment on your calendar that you put as a priority. And it means putting yourself as a priority and realizing that is not selfish. That is actually for everyone's best benefit, because all of those people who depend on you are going to be getting the best you, and they're going to be getting the non-burnt out you, and the one who can keep showing up. So working from a place of overflow means doing things that make you feel good, putting yourself on your calendar, bringing joy into your life through the things that you love. And like I said, those dimensions include emotional, spiritual, mental fulfillment, things that make you feel fulfilled in those areas. So M, number 3, is master self-love and self-compassion. So what does this mean? So we all have things that happen in life that make us feel like, we messed up, or we didn't do good enough. We're not a good enough mom. We're not a good enough friend. We're not a good enough spouse. We're not good enough at our job, or whatever. And it means having compassion for yourself in those areas. If you had a friend who came to you and was expressing some of the ways that they felt, insufficient in different areas of their life, talk to yourself the same way you would talk to that friend. We are so much harder on ourselves than we are on the other people in our lives. We don't give ourselves the same compassion and love and forgiveness that we give others sometimes. And that, it's not a healthy place to operate from. So mastering self-love and self-compassion is talking to yourself, not only, inwardly, our inner voice, but outwardly, when something happens in our lives that we feel like need to improve or whatever, talking to ourselves, having that self-talk that would be just as kind and compassionate as we would give to somebody else that we love. So number 4A, spelling out woman, activate your awesomeness. So as, a mom, as an entrepreneur, possibly as somebody who has any sort of goals or aspirations, we have to operate from a place of vision. So if we have a goal, but we don't have a vision, if we don't have a inspiration to rely on to get us to where we're going, often we won't succeed in getting there because the drive or the daily inspiration is not there to keep doing the things that we know are going to take us in the right direction. So writing down a 3-year vision for your life. Where do you want to be in 3 years, not 5 years or 10 years or even 1 year, because, 1 year is often not long enough to get us where we want to go. But writing, envisioning this 3-year vision of our goals, whether it's in health, vocation, whether this is paid or not paid. It can be a volunteer thing that you do. Relationships, time and money freedom. We have to be able to envision these goals in a way that includes the emotional and joyful expression of how that would feel. So when you think about your goal and you can picture yourself having reached that goal, do you get down to the actual emotions that you would feel? Like envision yourself, what you would be wearing, who would be there, what would it look like, what would it smell like, what would it sound like, and get so deep into the vision of this that you can actually feel the emotions that you would feel and live in that for at least a moment or so to actually create like an emotional reaction in your body that then it can change your mindset and rewire your brain to actually, have a stronger drive to get there. And then also, because you've envisioned that so much to where it becomes almost like muscle memory, you can start to manifest that by being in that joyful vibration when you practice that enough. So vision boards are great for this, being able to visually see the thing that you want, whether it's words or images, but have something that you can look at on a daily basis, or at least, a few times a week, that reminds you of where you want to be and puts you back into that joyful vibration of picturing yourself there. And sometimes that is all we need to keep moving forward toward our goals and not just want to give up because we have forgotten that we even felt the desire or need to do this in the first place. So the last one, number 5, N, is to nurture your relationships. So this can include your relationships with your friends. If you're a woman, having relationships with other women is really, really important. Nurture those relationships, nurture those friendships, nurture your marriage, nurture your relationship with your kids, and lead these relationships from a place of empathy. Everybody can be frustrating or frustrated with the relationships in their lives, especially the closest ones. But when you can lead with empathy in these relationships, not only are you practicing giving that empathy to the people in your life, you are practicing then giving that same empathy and compassion and self-love, like I was saying in number 3, master self-love and compassion, to yourself. And that is so important too, because we all have setbacks. We all have bad days. We all have days when we feel less worthy or like we're not on the right path. We're not doing enough. We're not blank, 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 blank. The list can go on and on. But if you can have empathy for yourself and encouragement for yourself, then you can often muster the strength that you need to keep going that day. And, a good day can lead to a good week, can lead to a good month, and so on and so on and so on. So I hope these tips were helpful. Like I said, this spells out woman. It's 5 lifestyle practices to supercharge yourself and your mindset. Woman. Number 1 was work on your mindset. Number 2, operate from a place of overflow. Number 3, master self-love and self-compassion. Activate your awesomeness. And number 5, N, was nurture your relationships. So if you missed any of this, go back and watch the replay. I hope you're all having a wonderful Saturday, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.